welcome back to the channel, guys. First of all, like, comment, and subscribe. And in today's video, we're gonna do a quick market analysis on GBPJPY. We're gonna do a top-down analysis on that. Let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all. Let's see, let's do it. All right, so here we are. We're gonna start off on the monthly time frame, because just analyzing this earlier, I found something pretty interesting to me as far as where we are. So as we can see, we are in an uptrend. This is whole area formed a high low, high low. Then we made a higher high, and this whole little zone here formed a higher low, and you have a higher high, right? So confirm uptrend on the monthly time frame. You always want to be with the higher time frame. You always want to know where you are in structure on the higher time frames. Always know where you are in structure. Always know where you are in structure, right? Because if you don't know where you are in structure, you're gonna get clapped, and you're gonna end up a statistic, and you're gonna lose money. And that's not what we trade for. We don't trade to lose money, and we don't trade to gamble. You know, we're here to catch what we can in the markets, and go on about the rest of our day and catch the next opportunity another time, right? So this is the monthly time frame. As we can see, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, several months, right? So several months for the market to make a high low point. It's been retesting this zone for months, right? So probably wasn't the best time to be trading GJ. You know what I mean? So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna draw our support and resistance zone here. And I like to use the magnet tool, right? It just makes things a little bit more precise, right? And this is where we're at. So as we can see, the market has been trying to make a higher low point, on the monthly time frame. We scale down to the weekly. Also on the monthly, one more thing, you can see all these levels of exhaustion. What that means is, long as wicks, that's exhaustion. What that means is sellers try to push price below this zone, but continuously fail. And you can see, we have some nice bullish candles on the monthly time frame. You can see that the market, we definitely have buyers in this area. So this is an area that you confirm want to buy from, right? So we scale down to the weekly, we can see same thing. Bullish structure being formed. You know what I'm saying? Bullish structure being formed. We scale down to the daily. This is where things get interesting. As we can see things in more detail on a daily time frame. You know what I'm saying? So we'll pull out our path tool again, and we can see this higher low. First of all, the market on the monthly was pulling back into this zone. So on a daily, it was in a downtrend. Right, so did something like this: high point, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So in order to continue this downtrend, the market would have had to break below this zone. But as we can see on this higher time frame, it never broke below this zone. It actually started to reverse from this zone, right? And how do we know it reversed? By simply looking at the market structure. This is where we know. All right, so we have this low point that never got broken, right? It failed to make a lower low. So it pushed up from this zone, came up, pulled back, and made a high low point right around this area, right where it found support. But it never broke this zone, right? So what it did was it pulled back to this zone, made a higher low point, pushed up, pushed back down, made another high low point, and started pushing up. So now we back in the uptrend. You know what I'm saying? So that's the daily time frame. So let's look at how we could, because I trade intraday. So let's see how we could take advantage of this, right? So this structure point right here, what I see pattern, right? Looks like we have a some kind of double bottom variation, right? Something like that. So I would anticipate something like after we broke this high here, so this high is higher than this high, so we're still in a confirmed uptrend. So, but in order to continue that uptrend, We need price to pull back. Let's see where we can pull back from. Let me draw this tool here. Where is mine? There we go. Horizontal rate. Watch how precise this is with the magnet. Boom. Look at that. See this zone? And price respects this line. Boom, 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 boom. Every time. Respects it, right? So I'd anticipate price to either do something like this. Pull back here and continue. Or do something like this. Pull back from here into this structure point. Alright, let's say about right here. Push up, right? So let's see how we can get in on that. So my trading strategy is very simple: market structure and Fibonacci, right? So I pull out my Fibonacci, and what I would do is I would draw from this low point, because this was the last high or low point. You can use this wick, the bottom of this wick, or the bottom of this wick. I'm gonna just use this one, and I'm gonna draw it to this level, right? That's the most recent high. And all I'm looking for is for price to, hit my zones, pretty much. I'm just waiting for price to come to me. This was the impulse, right? This whole move here was the impulse. But if you miss the impulse, all you gotta do is wait for the correction. And it's gonna do something like this. Boom. I would get in, and I'd probably target. I generally like to target the negative 27% or the negative 61.8%, right? So my first take profit would probably be where price initially got to. What that was, that 195, right? That would be TP1, right? TP2 would be something like this. Right, the negative 27%, and my final take profit would be up here. That would be my TP3. Boom, just like that. And this is basically what I'm anticipating on GJ to do, something like that, some kind of variation of that. We don't necessarily know right now is Asian session. I don't trade Asian session. I feel like GJ is most active. Well, I know for a fact GJ is most active, during London and NY session. So, I'll be anticipating something like that. And I usually wake up around 6 in the morning Central Time. So, and then at that point, I'm kind of analyzing the market and I'm looking at the markets. I don't really trade London. I'm usually asleep. You know what I mean? So I'm missing a lot of those trades. I trade NY. So NY open 7 o'clock my time, and 8:30. When the stock exchange open, that's when I'm trying to take advantage of all that volume. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking at on GJ. Hopefully this plays out. And we'll go from there, and it'll continue that uptrend that it's been on. But that's the setup that I'm looking on GJ. That's it for my top-down analysis on GJ. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.